If you turned 70 and a half this year and you weren't too excited about taking your first required minimum distribution from your IRA account, guess what? You are in luck, because the Secure Act, which was just signed into law in December of 2019, extended the age that you have to start taking those required minimum distributions, or RMDs, extended the age to 72. There are several planning opportunities that now exist because this age has been extended, and that's what I'm talking about in today's video. So here's what changed for you. Basically, prior to 2020, you had to start taking mandatory forced withdrawals from your IRA once you reach the age of 70 and a half. Here's what's not so great about IRA accounts. Well, the beauty of an IRA or a 401k account is that you put money in. If it's a traditional IRA, you're gonna get a tax deduction on the contribution that you make. And then that money grows tax-free from that point forward until you start taking money out of the account. And then Uncle Sam comes to you with his hand out and says, okay, I've been your tax partner all along. You haven't paid any taxes. I want my money now. Force you to take money out, and you have to pay the taxes at your income tax rate based on those distributions. So every year when you have to start taking those required minimum distributions, that lump sum amount or the monthly amount that you take out, it gets added to your annual income for the year, and it's used to calculate what your overall income is. So you pay taxes on the distributions. The higher income increases the overall potential for taxation, and it's honestly, it's not fun to have to pay taxes. So here's what this means for you from a planning perspective. So because you can wait, you don't have to take those distributions and then pay the taxes on them until you are 72. So in some cases, it might make sense to take withdrawals from other accounts if you need that money. In other situations, as I'll talk about in a subsequent video, maybe it might make more sense to take those IRA distributions out first. So it just depends on your situation. Another really important planning opportunity here is to convert money in your traditional IRA to a Roth. Now you have longer to do this. So let's say you retire at 65, you don't have to start taking those RMDs out until you're 72. So you have 7 years to try to convert as much money into a Roth as possible. And what this does is that the bucket of money that's in your traditional IRA, as you make those conversions, it shrinks every year as you do that. So that when you turn 72 and you have to now start pulling money out, it's a smaller bucket. Hopefully, if you were able to convert a substantial amount, it's a much smaller bucket than what you would have otherwise done had you not taken advantage of Roth conversions. So there's usually this sweet spot for a lot of people where in the early years of retirement, your income goes down. So it makes sense to then convert that money to Roth and pay the taxes on it to get it permanently out of the traditional IRA, so that when you have to start taking those distributions at 72, it's now a smaller pot, and the future taxes will potentially be lower, and the amount of money that you're forced to withdraw every year will potentially be lower as well. The other important tie-in, and this ties into a future video that I'm going to do that also relates to the Secure Act and the changes of the rules, is that if you are able to convert money, and it makes sense to convert money from your traditional IRA accounts to a Roth, and you're able to do this maybe potentially for several years in a row, getting more money in the Roth also potentially benefits your beneficiaries. So when your kids, if and when your kids inherit those monies, they have more money from the Roth IRA that they inherited than they otherwise would have, and hence the taxes for them, because under the Secure Act, as I'll talk about in a subsequent video, they're going to be forced to take distributions from the IRAs over a 10-year time period. And I don't know about you, but I would much rather take money out of a Roth and not pay taxes on it versus taking money out of a traditional IRA and potentially paying a lot of taxes on that. The bottom line here is that the extended age of the RMDs to age 72 opens up this window of opportunity where now there are additional tax planning and estate planning considerations that you may want to look at that maybe weren't otherwise available to you before, or in a way that made sense before. But because the RMD age is now extended, maybe those opportunities are now opened up to you. And at the very least, it offers you some additional flexibility where you have another 1.5 to 2 years where you're not forced to take those withdrawals out of your account, and you can take it out of other accounts instead. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Micciche, and I will see you next time.